For centuries, people perceived unexplained phenomena as miracles. As science advanced, many of these phenomena received clear explanations.
Cool. Oh, I got it. Jesus, I got it.
Oh my gosh, they're still coming down. Look at this.
Everybody get inside!
They're fish.
Perhaps what seems like fantasy today will become something familiar and well understood tomorrow. In this video, I present to your attention a selection of the most unusual observations, whose reality is hard to believe. Enjoy watching. Rain in Dubai is a rare phenomenon, but in April 2024, the city faced a real flood. The author of this video recorded the natural disaster on camera and shared a remarkable detail. According to him, fish were falling from the sky during the downpour. The footage does indeed show fish splashing in the water on a flooded street, and it looks fantastic. However, users doubted the truthfulness of the episode, since no official confirmation of a fish rain came from local authorities or meteorological services. In 2013, in the Indian village of Valamkota in the state of Kerala, during a mass at Christ the King Church, parishioners noticed an image on the Eucharistic bread that resembled the face of Christ. The news quickly spread around the world. Believers began coming to the church to see the unusual phenomenon with their own eyes, and the Catholic Church launched its own investigation. Experts questioned witnesses and searched for natural explanations for what had happened. For example, it may have been that people saw a face because of pareidolia, the tendency to notice familiar images in random patterns, or the reason may have lain in the baking process or traces of moisture. In the end, the Vatican did not recognize the phenomenon as a miracle, but believers still regard what happened as a sign of divine presence. Residents of one of the cities in Romania were shocked when strange dark whirlwinds appeared in the streets. It seemed as though they were some unusual kind of tornado, and it was completely unclear what danger they might pose. However, everything was soon clarified. It turned out that these were mosquito tornadoes, huge swarms of mosquitoes that had gathered into groups and begun swirling in the air. Biologists explained that insects behave this way during mating. Males gather in swarms to attract females, and because there were so many mosquitoes, the whirlwinds looked dark. When the townspeople realized there was no danger, they began watching this unusual spectacle with interest. The author of this video woke up at night because of a loud noise in the yard. He went outside and found a large stone by the front door. The man immediately noticed the object's perfectly spherical shape, as well as the fact that its surface was decorated with patterns. But the main feature of the stone was that it glowed green in the dark. The next day, the man recorded the find on camera and handed it over to the regional branch of the Geological Service. Specialists began a comprehensive study of the object. At present, the work on examining the stone is still ongoing. 2 videos featuring 2 different churches appeared on the internet. The first video was filmed at night. In the footage, the upper part of the building can be seen emitting a blue glow resembling an electric arc. The second video was recorded during the day, and this time a different church appears in the frame, but sparkling golden discharges are also visible at its top. The phenomenon attracted public attention and sparked discussion about possible causes. Among the theories was an interesting hypothesis that church buildings are capable of accumulating energy and periodically releasing it in the form of light effects. A resident of Mongolia witnessed an amazing natural phenomenon and managed to capture it on camera. In the sky, he noticed clouds arranged in a shape resembling an eye, while the sun served as the pupil in this picture. Experts explained that such optical illusions arise because of the unusual outlines of clouds. Sometimes air masses arrange themselves in ways that remind people of familiar objects or images. However, despite this explanation, many people believe that such wonders are not accidental and are a sign from above. While photographing the night sky, a photographer from Romania accidentally captured a rare atmospheric phenomenon, bright red flashes known as red sprites. Red sprites are a type of high-altitude lightning that appears above thunderclouds at heights of 50 to 90 kilometers. Unlike ordinary lightning, they spread upward and look like flashes of red or orange light, sometimes resembling tentacles or trees. This phenomenon is extremely difficult to record because sprites exist for only a few milliseconds and are visible only at night in clear weather, not far from the center of a thunderstorm. So, these shots can truly be called unique. Residents of the Canadian province of Alberta shared footage of an amazing natural phenomenon, light pillars. While watching the video, it seems as though snowflakes are rushing upward like a fountain, but in reality this is an optical illusion. Light pillars occur during periods of severe frost. When light from any source hits these tiny ice crystals, it is reflected from their lower faces. The observer's vision combines all the separate reflections into one long vertical band, which is called a light pillar. This phenomenon looks especially spectacular on calm, snowy days, when nature creates the illusion of a magical fountain of light. A diver was exploring the ocean with the help of a deep-sea drone and captured footage of an unusual jellyfish. After the video was published, users identified it as the Firework's jellyfish. This rare animal lives at depths of more than 1,000 meters. The species got its name thanks to its 70 tentacles, which resemble fireworks. Because it lives in darkness, it has no pigmentation, and the glow visible in the footage is the result of light reflecting from the drone. An encounter with such a rare species is a great stroke of luck for researchers. Late in the evening, the owner of a small shop in the city of Tulsa, in the state of Oklahoma, was already preparing to go home when his attention was suddenly drawn to strange flashes in the distance. It seemed as though something was constantly exploding, creating an alarming orange glow that pulsed in the evening sky. The man immediately felt that he had become a witness to something mysterious. He quickly captured the strange phenomenon on his smartphone camera and reported what he had seen to the emergency services. However, after a thorough inspection, specialists recorded neither fires nor explosions. The mysterious spectacle remained an unsolved enigma. Residents of the city of San Antonio, in the state of Texas, witnessed a burning sphere streaking rapidly across the sky. Just a few seconds later, a deafening roar rang out. The object crashed into the parking lot of an abandoned store, after which a large crater formed. Rescue workers and police officers quickly arrived at the scene. The area was cordoned off, and curious onlookers were not allowed to come closer than 100 meters. What made the incident even more intriguing was that a large number of townspeople clearly saw the fiery sphere in the sky and heard the powerful explosion. Yet the official authorities categorically stated that no incident had taken place. This sharp contrast between eyewitness accounts and the official position sparked a wave of rumors. To this day, people still do not understand why the authorities are concealing what happened and what actually fell from the sky. Residents of the city of Austin, in the state of Texas, shared this footage online. Before their eyes, a glowing orange ring appeared in the sky. Just a few seconds later, the object began to change shape. It stretched into a long arc, narrowed, hid behind heavy storm clouds, and then reappeared as if playing with the eyewitnesses. At one moment, the mysterious formation turned into something like a giant lightning bolt and almost fell to the ground. This mesmerizing spectacle lasted for about 3 minutes and then vanished without a trace, together with the clouds. Interestingly, a few days earlier, residents of the city had also seen similar heavy black clouds, but that time the phenomenon was accompanied by a low hum, different from thunder. None of the known natural phenomena can explain what happened. During a hike through remote areas of China's Fujian province, a tourist saw an unusual sight in the sky. Dense clouds had gathered around the sun, creating a bizarre background, but the most astonishing part was something else. It was as if someone had cut out a perfectly even circle, exactly matching the shape of the sun. The contrast between the bright solar disk and the sharp boundary of the cut-out area looked so unreal that the tourist even doubted the reality of what was happening. He managed to capture the phenomenon on camera so that other people could also see just how amazing our planet is. In September 2018, a red calf was born in Israel, causing a wide stir in religious circles. The reason was that, according to ancient Jewish prescriptions, a special purification ritual requires a red cow, one without spots or defects, and never used for labor. The animal was born on a farm overseen by the Temple Institute, an organization that has spent many years searching for a suitable cow for the mitzvah ritual. Rabbis and specialists examined the calf carefully. At first, its coloring seemed appropriate, which sparked talk of a possible fulfillment of an ancient prophecy, according to which the sacrifice of a red cow may precede the construction of the third temple in Jerusalem. However, it later became clear that the calf only appeared red because of the lighting conditions. A detailed examination revealed shades in its coat that did not meet the strict ritual requirements. In the end, the animal was not recognized as suitable for the mitzvah, but the event itself drew attention to the ancient commandment and sparked lively discussion among believers. Residents of the state of Florida witnessed a mysterious phenomenon. At sunset, a red sphere appeared in the sky, very pahojie on our sun, yet at that time the sun had already begun to sink below the horizon. At the same time, the moon was clearly visible in the sky. Altogether, it looked like pure fantasy. Witnesses noted that the phenomenon lasted for several minutes, after which the red object vanished without a trace. Despite publishing the video and contacting meteorological services, these people never received an answer to the question of what exactly they had seen that day. A tourist vacationing in Phuket in March 2025 launched a drone to capture the picturesque views of the coastal area. After returning home, he noticed that the camera had recorded a strange shape in the water resembling a gigantic foot. What made the story especially surprising was that, after it appeared, waves formed in the sea as if a giant had really stamped a foot on the water, and a few hours later an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 struck Myanmar and was also felt in Thailand. Perhaps it was only an illusion and a coincidence, but the author of the video believes otherwise. Several years ago, a number of videos from different cities in Canada appeared online at once. In every case, eyewitnesses recorded strange clouds moving at great speed and forming a rectangular space in the sky. These clouds stood out not only because of how fast they moved, but also because of their glow. It seemed as though rays of sunlight were passing through them, even though the sun itself was not behind them at that moment. The videos caused heated discussion on social media, yet no one was ever able to explain the nature of this phenomenon. In 2013, a driver traveling along a highway near Chelyabinsk captured a strange event on camera. Before his eyes, a bright green flash appeared in the sky. As it later turned out, this was the Chelyabinsk meteor, a celestial body about 20 meters in diameter and weighing roughly 13,000 tons. It entered the Earth's atmosphere at a speed of 18 to 19 kilometers per second and exploded at an altitude of about 24 kilometers, releasing energy equivalent to more than 300 kilotons of TNT. The largest fragment, weighing 654 kilograms, fell into Lake Chebarkul, 80 kilometers from Chelyabinsk, and was lifted from the bottom in October 2013. Research showed that the meteorite belongs to the class of ordinary chondrites, type LL5, and is about 4.45 billion years old. Traces of organic compounds containing sulfur and oxygen were found in it, and unique carbon structures never before seen on Earth were discovered in the meteorite dust. During an expedition in Antarctica, researchers were studying ice formations with the help of drones when something unusual appeared inside a massive iceberg. In the footage, they noticed a dark shape trapped deep in the ice. It had branching extensions and vaguely resembled an octopus. The iceberg is located in a hard-to-reach area which makes further on-site investigation impossible. Residents of desert regions in Africa began sharing footage online of giant fissures that had suddenly appeared in the ground. The videos show deep cracks reaching hundreds of meters in length and several meters in depth. They appear suddenly, widen over time, and in some cases damage roads and nearby structures. Local residents are concerned that the fissures are growing, while the authorities have not yet provided detailed explanations of the causes of what is happening or the possible risks. The lack of information has given rise to many rumors, which only increases anxiety among the population. A tourist was shocked by blood rain during a trip to the Iranian island of Hormuz. However, local residents explained that this phenomenon is considered normal there. Why do such rains occur in this place? It all comes down to the composition of the island's soil. It contains a large amount of iron oxide, the same substance that causes rust. That is why the soil here has a reddish color. When heavy rains fall, the water washes away the upper layer of earth, and the rain streams, brooks, and puddles turn bright red. The heavier the downpour, the more vivid the color becomes. A farmer, watching a herd with the help of a drone, noticed that the animals had gathered tightly together and begun moving in circles. This seemed strange to him until he spotted several wolves nearby. Such behavior is an instinctive defensive reaction. When threatened, hoofed animals form a circle, with the young and the females in the center and the males positioned around the perimeter, ready to defend them. The circling helps each animal cover the back of the one ahead, making it difficult for a predator to single out and attack an individual target. At the same time, the herd remains alert and can respond in time to any attempt to break through its defense. In York, in the county of Yorkshire, cyclists encountered an unexpected problem on the stretch between Bootham Road and New Earswick Lane in England's county of Yorkshire. In winter, moisture in the soil froze and caused the road surface to swell. As a result, cracks formed in the asphalt. The gaps were filled with elastic material, but bad weather forced the repair compound back out. As a result, bumps up to 5 centimeters high appeared on the road, turning the route into an obstacle course for cyclists, especially in the dark. Locals humorously nicknamed the section the New Earswick Snake, and the winding formations in the road really did resemble a snake. After numerous complaints, city services carried out major repairs, replaced the foundation, and laid new asphalt. On the 5th of May, 2020, a surveillance camera in one of the banks in the state of Texas captured an unusual incident. The footage shows a man standing near an ATM when, all of a sudden, a strange black substance resembling oil forcefully bursts out from beneath the floor tiles. At first, it shoots up like a small fountain and then quickly spreads across the floor. Soon, a second man enters the office. He simply walks around the puddle and takes his place in line. The bank's management did not explain what happened that day, so the nature of the black liquid remains a mystery. A man was driving along a road near a forest in Siberia. At some point, he noticed a strange object descending from the sky to the ground. It looked like a large glass sphere, inside which multicolored glows appeared from time to time. The witness stopped his car and began filming the mysterious object. After returning home, he posted the video on social media and hoped that someone would explain what it was. There were many theories, ranging from secret experiments to alien spacecraft, but none of them was ever confirmed. In the Algerian Sahara, researchers discovered a stream of oil that looked like a real river. The oil was coming to the surface through a crack in the ground. It flowed down the slope like water, while its stream curved around small dunes and stones, forming its own bed and channels. At the end of its path, the oil collected in a hollow, where a small black lake had formed. As experts explained, in this area, oil lies close to the surface, and when fractures form in the ground, it seeps outward. There is almost no rain in the desert. There are no streams or rivers here. That is why nothing prevents the oil from flowing across the sands and gathering in lakes. It is worth noting that Algeria's oil reserves amount to more than 12 billion barrels, so such spills are not uncommon here. Residents of several settlements in Western Australia were shocked when they saw everything around them suddenly turn a deep orange color. The sky, the ground, and the buildings looked as if someone had used an orange filter for photography. It seemed as though the apocalypse was about to begin, but in fact, the cause of this phenomenon was a powerful dust storm with strong gusts of wind that lifted enormous masses of clay and sand, rich in iron oxide, into the air. These particles were carried for hundreds of kilometers, creating the effect of an orange world. The storm lasted for several hours, after which it gradually died down, and the landscape returned to its usual appearance. During a hike in a mountainous area, a tourist noticed an unusual phenomenon in the sky. First, a bright, fiery object flashed high above, and a couple of seconds later, a rotating ring began to form around it. It looked as though someone had suspended a burning hoop in the air. The traveler took out a camera and filmed what was happening. A few minutes later, the anomaly began to fade and disappeared completely without leaving any trace. Unfortunately, even scientists were unable to explain the nature of this phenomenon. During a severe thunderstorm in one of the cities in the state of Georgia, an eyewitness was filming lightning from a balcony. Suddenly, an astonishing moment was caught on camera. A powerful discharge struck the spire of a nearby tower exactly. This phenomenon, although it looks mystical, has a scientific explanation. As a rule, lightning chooses the shortest and most conductive path to the ground. Tall objects, especially towers and skyscrapers with metal elements, become natural targets. During a thunderstorm, electrical charges accumulate around them, which further increases the likelihood of a strike. However, there is no need to worry. Modern buildings are designed with these features in mind and are equipped with lightning protection systems that safely direct the discharge into the ground, preventing damage to the structure. Residents of a small town in California were alarmed by an unusual phenomenon when a bright red light appeared in their windows and a crimson glow flared up beyond the forest. Believing that a major fire had started, people immediately called the fire department. Rescue crews arrived promptly at the scene, but found no fire, no smoke, and no signs of ignition whatsoever. The sky remained red for about an hour, after which it gradually returned to its normal appearance. The authorities did not provide any official comments, so people were left only to guess what had happened that night. On the 13th of February last year, residents of several Australian cities heard an unusual sound resembling a trumpet-like hum. Many people captured this phenomenon on camera, and here is one such video. Its author went outside and at first thought it was thunder, since the sky was covered with clouds. But when the sound repeated, he realized that it was different from thunderclaps. The man decided to find out the nature of the phenomenon and published the video online. Some users immediately drew parallels with biblical prophecies and began discussing possible apocalyptic signs. Recently, a video appeared online showing a mysterious stone levitating in the Libyan desert of Egypt. The author of the clip said that during his journey he noticed a boulder emitting invisible vibrations. These vibrations made the sand beneath the stone form bizarre patterns, while the boulder itself produced a hum, as if some mechanism were working inside it. Unfortunately, the author did not provide the exact coordinates of the discovery, so it is impossible to verify whether it really exists. The author of one of the videos witnessed an unusual phenomenon. Before his eyes, a glowing building appeared among the clouds above the horizon. When the man posted the footage online, most users linked the phenomenon to the Fata Morgana effect. Fata Morgana is an optical illusion caused by a sharp temperature difference in the atmosphere. As a result, light is refracted, creating distorted images of distant objects that may appear to be floating in the air. In one of the cities in India, local residents noticed reddish-brown smoke rising from a storm drain. Someone captured on camera how specialists arrived at the scene. They tried to determine the cause of the incident, but the further development of events remained unknown. Most likely, the reddish-brown smoke could have been caused by nitrogen dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, or products of incomplete combustion. On the 3rd of March, 2026, people all over the world saw a blood moon. This phenomenon was associated with a total lunar eclipse, during which the moon passes through the Earth's shadow. The moon turns red because of the Earth's atmosphere. It refracts sunlight and scatters the short blue waves, while allowing the longer red and orange ones to reach the moon. This phenomenon is called Rayleigh scattering for the same reasons sunsets on our planet have a red tint. Thanks to the author of this video, you can see impressive footage of the annular solar eclipse that occurred on the 17th of February, 2026. This phenomenon occurs when the moon is far from the Earth and cannot completely cover the Sunday. On that day, it covered almost 96% of the solar disk, leaving a bright, glowing rim around the edges. The eclipse was best seen in Antarctica, while the partial phase could be observed by residents of southern Africa, Chile, and Argentina. These amazing shots were taken in Queensland, Australia. Local residents had suffered from a severe drought for a long time and were eagerly awaiting rainfall. When the long-awaited rain finally came, it brought a completely unexpected surprise. Along with the drops, fish began falling from the sky. A similar event occurred on the 7th of November, 2025 in Blue Ridge, Georgia. During a powerful thunderstorm, local residents watched in amazement as small fish fell from the cloud. This rare natural phenomenon is known as fish rain. Scientists believe the phenomenon is connected with tornadoes or strong whirlwinds over bodies of water, which are capable of lifting water into the air together with its inhabitants and carrying them over considerable distances. When the whirlwind weakens, everything it picked up falls to the ground, including the fish. Tourists who went on a sea cruise to Antarctica through the Drake Passage witnessed a truly mystical phenomenon. In the distance, in the middle of the icy water, they noticed the silhouette of a ship. The vessel looked nothing like modern seagoing ships. It was an old wooden ship with worn sails, as if it had stepped out of the pages of historical chronicles. It drifted among the endless waters for about 5 minutes, and then, as if dissolving into the thick fog, disappeared without a trace. At first, the passengers thought it was an optical illusion or a trick of the imagination, but the photographs and video recordings they made clearly confirmed the reality of what they had seen. Interestingly, employees of the Mukilteo terminal in the state of Washington also encountered a similar phenomenon. Dispatchers suddenly noticed a vessel at the pier that was blocking access to the dock. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be the fishing vessel Mary B. It drifted silently near the terminal, creating the impression that someone was controlling it. However, when the staff inspected the vessel, there was no one on board. When the Coast Guard arrived at the scene, the ship simply vanished as if it had melted into thin air. During a flight over Russia, airplane passengers witnessed a mysterious phenomenon. Before their eyes, several greenish lights appeared next to the aircraft. They formed a clear formation and moved parallel to the plane, while there were no other aircraft nearby. People watched the lights for less than a minute, after which they went out simultaneously and disappeared. But what could it have been? Perhaps it was an optical illusion caused by the play of light and the peculiarities of perception during a flight. Or maybe the passengers were lucky enough to see something extraterrestrial. At the moment, there is no definite answer, and the mystery of this sighting remains unsolved. In China's Guangdong province, an unusual event occurred. Local residents recorded on video a giant cloud behaving strangely. The dense formation constantly changed shape. At times it twisted into a spiral, and at others it spread out, losing its outline. But the most astonishing part was that a multicolored glow could be seen inside the cloud. The video quickly spread across the internet and caused a real stir. Residents of the province demanded explanations from the authorities. However, no official comments ever appeared. The author of this video captured an astonishing sight. Going outside, he saw unusual clouds in the night sky arranged in such a way that the space between them formed a distinct cross. Completing the picture was the moon in the background. Its light brightly highlighted the unusual figure in the sky. Many viewers who watched the video perceived the phenomenon as a divine sign. I think many would agree that, for a random natural coincidence, the composition looked far too symmetrical and expressive. In September 2020, residents of the Chinese city of Jinan witnessed a fantastic sight. Before their eyes, an entire city with tall towers and buildings suddenly appeared in the sky. People stopped to record the anomaly on their cameras and wondered what it could be. Scientists proposed several versions. The most popular is an optical illusion caused by atmospheric refraction. The bending of light in layers of air with different densities can distort and project distant objects. And although the sight looked fantastical, it may have a completely scientific explanation. A resident of Dortmund, Germany, could not sleep and decided to get some fresh air by the open window. Looking outside, he noticed a strange object in the sky. It looked something like a cloud with a golden glow. The man took a camera and began filming. When he zoomed in, he saw two small glowing objects next to the mysterious cloud. The anomaly was observed for 5 minutes, after which the glow began to fade and gradually dissolved into the air. Along with the golden cloud, the two small objects also disappeared. They were probably connected to the cloud formation in some way, but what it was remains a mystery. Recently, an unusual video appeared online that caused a wide reaction among users. The footage shows the night sky where bright blue lights suddenly flare up. At first, they look like separate glowing dots, but just a few seconds later, a real light show begins. The lights start moving chaotically across the sky, after which they rapidly merge into one powerful flash, and a glowing sphere appears in the sky. Sometime later, thin concentric rings emerge around this object and begin to rotate evenly, creating a mesmerizing visual effect. The spectacle looked completely fantastical, so many viewers decided that the video had been created with the help of artificial intelligence. Although there were also those who linked the sighting to the activity of extraterrestrial civilizations. In the English county of Yorkshire, residents of one of the small towns witnessed a truly astonishing phenomenon. An unusual cloud structure appeared in the sky, whose outline strikingly resembled the figure of Jesus Christ. The level of detail in the image was simply incredible. Moreover, the figure did not just have recognizable features, it also emitted a soft glow, which gave the anomaly a special effect. People were deeply shocked by what they saw. Some immediately began filming what was happening on their smartphone cameras. Some tried to get closer, and others dropped to their knees and began to pray. The phenomenon remained in the sky for less than a minute, after which the figure dissolved into the air. In January 2020, the parking lot of a shopping center in Burleson, Texas, came under attack by thousands of grackles, birds that resemble crows in appearance. The birds occupied literally everything around them, from parked cars and the roadway to power lines and surrounding trees. The noise of their cries could be heard from afar, creating the atmosphere of something apocalyptic. Experts explained that the massive gathering of birds was connected with winter migration. Grackles often choose such places for resting and searching for food, since there are trash bins nearby. This behavior is typical for these birds during the cold season, although such a large gathering does not happen often. This unusual phenomenon was recorded in the city of Antioch, California. Local residents noticed a thick, dense cloud that, after a few seconds, unexpectedly dispersed, and in its place appeared a distinct figure of a hand stretched toward the sky. Meteorologists explained the anomaly as a rare type of cloud formation that arises under certain weather conditions. However, eyewitnesses completely disagree with that explanation. And indeed, the hand looked so realistic that it was hard to believe in its natural origin. On the day after Christmas, residents of several Brazilian cities at once witnessed an impressive celestial anomaly. A glowing, fiery cross suddenly appeared in the night sky. It remained in the sky for only a few minutes, but that was enough time for people not only to notice the phenomenon, but also to begin actively discussing it, first among themselves and then on social media. People's opinions were divided. Some were sure that it was a divine blessing, while others, on the contrary, considered the anomaly a warning of coming catastrophes or even the end of the world. At night, on a highway near the Chinese city of Dalian, drivers encountered a mysterious phenomenon. In the thick fog, the silhouette of an old wooden ship with tall masts and tattered sails suddenly emerged. People in their cars froze in amazement because something like that was simply impossible. The ship was visible for about a minute and then vanished without a trace into the fog. Witnesses still argue about what it was. Some believe it could have been an optical illusion caused by poor visibility, while others are convinced that they encountered something mystical. In this footage, you see an incident that occurred on the 2nd of July 2021. On that day, off the coast of the city of Ciudad del Carmen in the Mexican state of Campeche, a fire broke out on an underwater gas pipeline near the Cu-Charlie offshore platform. The cause of the blaze was a gas leak from a pipeline laid at a depth of 78 meters. According to the Mexican state oil company Pemex, the accident happened due to a malfunction of a regulating valve between the platforms. The bright orange flames that burst from beneath the water created an incredible sight. The fiery patch in the middle of the sea resembled molten lava. Because of its unusual shape, the flames were nicknamed the Eye of Fire. The fire raged for about 5 hours. 3 firefighting vessels were deployed to extinguish it, using nitrogen to put out the flames. Although the incident looked frightening, no one was injured. There was no oil spill, and production at the facility resumed as normal after the fire was extinguished. In recent years, locust swarms have become a large-scale global problem. Countries in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and even Europe have suffered from insect attacks. The situation was especially difficult in Madagascar in the year 2013, when the island was hit by a massive invasion of the Malagasy migratory locust. This disaster went down in history as one of the most serious natural catastrophes on the island. Swarms of insects spread across vast territories, mercilessly destroying crops and pastures. The damage was truly catastrophic. The locusts affected more than 450,000 hectares of agricultural land, and the losses amounted to millions of dollars. By the year 2019, thanks to international efforts, the situation in Madagascar was partially stabilized. The United Nations allocated more than $41 million to combat the locusts, helping to mitigate the consequences of the disaster. However, despite the progress achieved, the threat of new invasions remains relevant. Scientists explain this problem by pointing to drastic changes in regional weather conditions, which are almost impossible to control. On the 23rd of July 2024, a hydrothermal explosion occurred in Yellowstone National Park in the Biscuit Basin area. The incident happened at approximately 10:19 local time near Sapphire Pool. Park visitors witnessed a massive fountain of steam, boiling water, and rocks erupt from the ground with a thunderous roar. A cloud of steam and debris rose to a height of about 180 meters, while rocks were scattered several meters around. Tourists nearby were terrified and ran away, trying to avoid the falling debris. Fortunately, no one was injured. After the incident, park staff promptly closed the Biscuit Basin area to visitors to ensure safety. Scientists explained that the explosion was caused by a blockage in a passage within the geothermal system. This led to a sudden increase in pressure and the conversion of water into steam. The event was not related to volcanic activity. A resident of the state of Utah went for a walk with his dog in a nearby forest. At first, nothing unusual happened, but at some point the man witnessed a surprising and unsettling anomaly. Before his eyes, the surface of the ground began to rise and fall rhythmically, as if it were not solid soil but a blanket. Along with the ground, the trees began to sway as though they were about to fall. The eyewitness quickly recorded what was happening and posted the footage online. The video rapidly spread across social media, attracting attention from both ordinary users and specialists. According to preliminary data, the ground oscillations may have been caused by localized underground processes. On the 11th of November 2024, a mud volcano erupted in Colombia near the town of San Jose de Mulatos. According to the Colombian Geological Service, the eruption was accompanied by the release of a huge amount of mud and the ignition of methane. The last time this volcano had erupted was 10 years earlier. Unlike classic volcanoes that eject lava and magma, mud volcanoes usually do not cause serious damage to the ecosystem. However, in this case, there was still danger. For this reason, regional authorities evacuated 109 families from homes located near the volcano. No serious injuries were reported, although several children were hospitalized due to inhaling dangerous fumes. In recent years, cases of water turning red have been observed in various parts of the world. Although this may look frightening, each phenomenon has a scientific explanation. In November 2023, a video of a red Nile circulated on social media, but it was later revealed that the footage had actually been filmed in Chile at Laguna Roja, where the water turned scarlet due to microalgae. At the same time, the Nile itself does sometimes take on a reddish-burgundy shade. This happens in autumn when water levels rise and Nile silt enters the river, coloring the water. In Peru, in the province of Cusco, there is also a river that turns bright red during the rainy season. This phenomenon occurs due to iron oxide and other minerals washed down from the surrounding slopes of the Andes. In December 2025, the coastal waters near Iran's Hormuz Island also turned red. This was related to the characteristics of the local soil and its reaction to heavy rains. Despite scientific explanations, these events caused concern among some people who feared the approaching end of the world. In July 2021, an unusual natural phenomenon occurred in the state of Haryana in northern India. A local resident named Jagat Vani, together with his friends, filmed how a huge section of land that had been underwater began to rise and crack. The man posted the video on his social media page, and it quickly went viral, gaining more than 4 million views. Users suggested several possible explanations. Some believe the phenomenon may have resulted from tectonic or volcanic activity. Others think the soil rose after the release of methane accumulated underground, while another theory suggests it may have been caused by a leak or blockage in an underground gas pipeline in that area. During a journey through a desert area in Saudi Arabia, tourists witnessed a rare and impressive natural phenomenon. According to eyewitnesses, the sand began to move before their eyes, as if something were trying to emerge from beneath it, and then suddenly collapsed inward. After that, a small crater formed from which flames burst out. It looked as if a portal to hell had opened in the desert, and a demon or evil spirit was about to appear. However, the witnesses tend to favor a simpler explanation. In their opinion, the phenomenon may have been caused by the release and ignition of natural gas accumulated beneath the surface of the sand. Residents of the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka witnessed an astonishing natural phenomenon, which some managed to capture on camera. During sunset, people saw huge dark whirlwinds forming in the sky. Only later did it become clear that these tornado-like formations consisted of colonies of mosquitoes. There were so many mosquitoes that their swarms blocked out the sunlight. The insect colonies moved in a coordinated manner, giving the whirlwinds a realistic appearance. The phenomenon was observed for 2 days. Experts attempted to explain this unusual occurrence. In their opinion, the cause was the insect's mating season. During such periods, male mosquitoes gather in large swarms and circle around females, forming massive clusters. This behavior strategy is typical for several mosquito species and sometimes results in the formation of so-called mosquito tornadoes. Residents of Saudi Arabia witnessed an unusual natural phenomenon. In one of the country's desert regions, a powerful bubbling fountain of clear water suddenly emerged. Local residents who saw the phenomenon with their own eyes were extremely surprised, since the appearance of a water source in an arid area is very rare. According to eyewitnesses, the flow of water was so strong that shortly after the fountain appeared, streams began forming around it. Within a few hours, they merged and turned into small rivers, carving their way through the sandy landscape. Experts believe that the cause of this phenomenon may have been a change in the hydrological regime. Prolonged or intense rainfall in neighboring regions could have led to the overflow of underground reservoirs and their emergence at the surface in this location. On the 21st of August 2025, residents of China's Sichuan province saw an incredible cluster of white silk cocoons of mulberry silkworms in a forest. Eyewitnesses were very surprised, as silkworms are considered fully domesticated. Since ancient times, China has been renowned for the art of producing precious silk, a craft based on the meticulous work of tiny caterpillars. Each individual can create a cocoon from a single silk thread whose length exceeds 1 kilometer. Today, most silkworms are indeed kept on specialized farms, but wild relatives of domesticated insects still survive in the forests of Sichuan. What exactly triggered such a sharp population increase remains a mystery. A resident of Vancouver witnessed a mysterious celestial phenomenon. The man was filming the night sky when an unusual object appeared in the frame. A glowing purple sphere suddenly emerged high above. It moved vertically, as if rising upward from beyond the horizon. The object gained altitude for a couple of seconds, and then upon reaching a certain point, suddenly exploded. At the moment of the explosion, it broke into several bright glowing fragments that briefly froze in the sky before quickly fading. Within moments, everything disappeared without a trace. The eyewitness posted the video of this mysterious sighting online, but no one was able to explain what it was. A man was simply walking through the forest when one of the trees caught his attention. Its branches were covered with white, fluffy formations resembling cotton. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be colonies of woolly aphids. This species of aphid, also known as the apple blood aphid, covers itself with waxy threads that create the effect of a fluffy white coating. It is this coating that gives the impression of cotton. The insects settle in colonies on branches and trunks, most often affecting apple trees, but they can also be found on other deciduous trees. Woolly aphids are dangerous to plants. By sucking sap, they weaken the tree, slow its growth, and can lead to the drying of branches. In addition, the honeydew secreted by aphids attracts sooty fungi that impair photosynthesis. In March 2025, residents of southern Florida observed a blood moon. This unusual coloration appears during a total lunar eclipse. The reason for the color is that sunlight passes through Earth's atmosphere and becomes scattered. As a result, mainly red and orange wavelengths reach the moon. The eclipse began on the evening of the 13th of March and continued into the night of the 14th of March. The total phase, when the entire disk of the moon was in Earth's shadow, lasted about 65 minutes. It was the first total lunar eclipse since November 2022. In the desert regions of Morocco, tourists and local residents witnessed a rare natural phenomenon known as the singing sands. During this phenomenon, a sound effect arises that resembles humming or a fairy tale melody. Scientists explain that singing sands occur when grains of sand begin to move down the slope of a dune. This movement creates an avalanche, and as the grains collide with one another, they vibrate. These vibrations generate sound waves. For the sandy melody to appear, special conditions are required. The grains must be round, nearly uniform in size, and well dried. The phenomenon is most often observed after strong winds or while walking on a dune. The sound can last from several seconds to a couple of minutes and can be heard at a considerable distance. Interestingly, as early as the 8th century, the traveler Marco Polo mentioned the singing sands in his travel notes about Asia, describing them as the voices of desert spirits. In January 2025, residents of the Russian settlement of Chernihiv in the Kemerovo region discovered a gigantic sinkhole. The diameter of the collapse reaches 15 meters, and its depth is about 8 meters. Witnesses immediately reported the discovery to the administration, and specialists were dispatched to the site. According to preliminary data, the formation of the sinkhole may have been caused by underground karst processes or soil erosion due to heavy rainfall. The area around the collapse has been cordoned off to eliminate the risk of accidents, but local residents remain concerned, as this is already the third sinkhole that has formed in the vicinity of the settlement. A resident of Istanbul who was filming a thunderstorm suddenly noticed a terrifying shadow among the clouds. Its outline resembled the face of a demon with a broad forehead, deep eye sockets, a large nose, and a pronounced chin. When the man posted the video online, it turned out that he was not the only one who had seen this strange silhouette. Many eyewitnesses confirmed that the demon's face was indeed clearly visible in the clouds. People's reactions were intense. Many felt fear and decided that the appearance of this silhouette was a warning of impending trouble or even catastrophe. However, scientists believe it was simply an illusion. Drivers traveling along the highway in the evening witnessed a fantastic sunset that will remain in their memories for a long time. At that moment, numerous small clouds filled the sky, and each of them was illuminated from within by the orange rays of the setting sun. The sight amazed witnesses with its beauty. Some compared the phenomenon to a fire spreading across the sky, while others noted that the clouds, pierced by sunlight, resembled scattered gold. Many drivers stopped to capture the unique moment on their smartphone cameras. Photographs and short videos quickly spread across social media, causing a wave of enthusiastic comments. The author of this video captured a very unusual cloud. It was dense and elongated in shape. Under the rays of the setting sun, it turned rich shades of orange and red. These colors gave the cloud a special beauty, while its clear contours and thick structure created a striking resemblance to a cosmic body suspended in the sky before falling to Earth. The video quickly spread across social media and attracted the attention of thousands of users. In the comments, experts explained that such expressive cloud formations arise from a combination of various factors, including strong winds and sharp temperature fluctuations. Each such cloud is unique and looks fantastic, but seeing something like this is not common, so it can be said that the author of the video was very lucky. During a trekking trip in the Indian Himalayas, travelers noticed that a crack suddenly formed in the rock, from which a powerful fountain of water burst out. Eyewitnesses promptly recorded what was happening and posted the footage online. Many viewers suggested that the tourists had witnessed a rare natural phenomenon, the birth of a geyser. Such phenomena occur when underground waters heated by magma under high pressure find their way to the surface through fractures. A family in California accidentally recorded a mysterious anomaly after looking out the window of their apartment at night. The footage clearly shows a bright flash in the sky. It appeared seemingly out of nowhere and shimmered in 3 different colors: blue, green, and violet. The phenomenon lasted only a few seconds, yet it still frightened the witnesses. The next morning, the authors of the video contacted local authorities requesting an explanation. However, officials did not confirm the incident despite the existence of the video recording. This led the witnesses to wonder whether the authorities might have been concealing secret military tests. On the 20th of July 2025, residents of Virginia witnessed an impressive celestial phenomenon. Eyewitnesses filmed shimmering objects of various colors appearing among the clouds, as if someone had hung a string of lights across the sky. The anomaly resembled a magical light show. The phenomenon lasted about 20 minutes and left locals speculating about what might have been hidden behind the clouds. Later, scientists suggested that the phenomenon could have been related to sunlight reflecting off high-altitude nacreous clouds. However, eyewitnesses insisted that the shimmering differed from typical atmospheric phenomena, and even speculated that an alien spacecraft might have been concealed behind the cloud. Residents of several Canadian cities witnessed an unusual anomaly in the night sky. Eyewitnesses reported seeing two glowing spheres. One emitted a bright green light, while the other shone with a deep violet color. The strange objects behaved unpredictably. At times, they moved closer together and seemed to merge into a single entity, then drifted apart again. The objects also periodically emerged from behind the clouds and then disappeared behind them once more. After a few minutes, the spheres suddenly vanished without leaving any trace. At first, many assumed they had witnessed a rare form of the Northern Lights. However, experts dismissed this theory, noting that this natural phenomenon does not take the shape of clearly defined spheres and does not display such a dance. In the Argentine city of Cordoba, local residents were shocked when they saw unusual clouds in the sky. Dense and heavy formations attracted attention with their strange shape. Eyewitnesses described them differently. Some compared the clouds to snowballs neatly lined up in a row, while others likened them to heavy sacks hanging from the sky and slightly drooping downward. When the video of this phenomenon gained many views, experts explained that the observed clouds belong to a rare type known as mammatus. Such formations develop beneath thunderstorm clouds and indeed resemble hanging pouches or bulges. Although this phenomenon may appear frightening, mammatus clouds themselves pose no threat. They are simply an interesting atmospheric phenomenon that occurs under certain weather conditions. In recent years, reports of mysterious sounds coming from the sky have been recorded all over the world. Strange acoustic phenomena resembling humming or the prolonged tones of enormous trumpets have been noted in dozens of regions. Recently, the anomaly was recorded in two major cities at once, first by residents of Sydney and then by residents of Brooklyn. In both cases, people reported eerie sounds, as if someone in the heavens were sending a signal. Witnesses described feelings of anxiety and even fear. According to them, the hum lasted for several minutes and then suddenly stopped. The sound anomaly quickly attracted the attention of the online community. Many linked it to biblical stories, in particular to the prophecy of 7 angels with trumpets announcing future events. Scientists have still been unable to provide a definitive explanation for this phenomenon. The author of this video stepped outside at night and accidentally captured a remarkable celestial phenomenon on camera. The footage shows a huge glowing sphere rapidly falling from the sky. After a few seconds, the sphere exploded, lighting up the sky with a bright flash. The video instantly spread across the internet and became the subject of active discussion. Later, specialists confirmed that the recording captured an asteroid that disintegrated upon entering Earth's atmosphere. According to astronomers, the celestial body was relatively small and completely burned up in the atmosphere without reaching the planet's surface. Such events occur very often, but people rarely manage to record them in such detail. On the 8th of April 2024, visitors to one of Mexico's beaches witnessed a rare and mesmerizing natural phenomenon, a total solar eclipse. Before the astonished onlookers, the sky gradually darkened, and the solar disk completely disappeared behind the moon, leaving only a glowing corona around the dark circle. The sight appeared both frightening and awe-inspiring at the same time. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves precisely between the Earth and the Sun, casting its shadow on the surface of our planet. A total eclipse can be observed only within a limited area, and these people were fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. In the Atacama Desert in Chile, an astonishing natural phenomenon known as the blooming desert occurred. This desert is considered one of the driest places on Earth, where rainfall is extremely rare. However, this time the Atacama was transformed. Its barren lands were covered with a bright carpet of purple and white flowers. It looked highly unusual and almost surreal. As it turned out, the cause of the phenomenon was rare but abundant rainfall that arrived along with the climatic event known as El Niño. In some areas, up to 60 millimeters of precipitation fell over a couple of months, although the average annual amount in this region is only 2 millimeters. The rains, moderate warmth, and sunlight allowed plant seeds that had waited many years for suitable conditions to sprout. Blooming in the Atacama occurs approximately once every 5 to 7 years. This event attracts many tourists and photographers and also plays an important role in the desert's ecosystem, supporting biodiversity in extreme conditions. On the 12th of May 2025, residents of Western Australia witnessed an impressive astronomical phenomenon. A bright green meteor streaked across the night sky. Many people managed to record it on their smartphone cameras, and the footage quickly spread across social media. Because of its unusual color, many users assumed it might have been a UFO. However, astronomers clarified that witnesses had actually seen a bolide, an especially large meteor that shines brightly and leaves a noticeable trail but completely burns up in the atmosphere without reaching Earth's surface. Scientists explained the striking green color by the object's chemical composition. Most likely, the meteor contained nickel or magnesium. These elements produce such a glow when burning in the atmosphere. Astronomers also suggested that the bolide may have been part of the Ite Aquariids meteor shower. This meteor shower is active from the 19th of April to the 28th of May. However, it is also possible that the meteor was a solitary one and not connected to the shower at all. During a severe thunderstorm near Rich Valley in the Canadian province of Alberta, a couple, Ed and Melinda Purdy, witnessed a rare atmospheric phenomenon and managed to capture it on video. According to the pair, on the 2nd of July at around 1900 hours, they stepped into their backyard to watch the storm. After a powerful lightning strike, they noticed an unusual object in the sky, a glowing sphere about 2 meters in diameter. It hovered approximately 6 meters above the ground and remained in the air for about 20 seconds before suddenly disappearing with a sound resembling a pop. The couple recorded the phenomenon and posted the video on social media. As it turned out, they had witnessed ball lightning, a rare atmospheric phenomenon. According to various estimates, the probability of seeing it at least once in a lifetime is only 0.01%. So the couple was indeed fortunate to witness this extraordinary event. Several years ago, residents of the French city of Orange faced an unpleasant surprise from nature, an invasion of nocturnal moths. At first, people noticed only small clusters of butterflies around streetlights, but within a couple of days, their numbers increased hundreds of times. However, the situation soon changed dramatically. The moths began covering buildings and shop windows, interfering with drivers and damaging plants. The insects also entered houses and other premises, forcing many cafes and shops to reduce their working hours. Fortunately, the authorities responded to the incident very quickly. It was decided to temporarily turn off streetlights and install light traps with insecticides. The fight against the insects proved successful, and the residents returned to their normal lives. On the 26th of June 2025, a mud volcano eruption occurred in southern Taiwan. The Wandan Mud Volcano, located near the Huangyuan Temple, became active. The natural phenomenon began early in the morning at around 5 o'clock local time and lasted almost 11 hours. During the eruption, the ground split into 4 separate cracks, from which powerful streams of thick, bubbling mud mixed with methane poured out. The muddy masses moved at high speed and threatened agricultural land located near the epicenter of the eruption. Interestingly, this was far from the first case of volcanic activity. Over the past 3 years, it has awakened 10 times. Off the coast of the Chilean island of Mocha, a tourist witnessed flames burning directly on the ocean's surface. Footage of this unusual phenomenon quickly spread across social media and sparked widespread discussion. Among the commentators were experts who clarified the situation. According to them, the phenomenon was caused by methane being released from the seabed. The gas seeps through cracks in the ocean floor, rises to the surface, and can ignite upon contact with a spark. Interestingly, such occurrences, although rare, are not unique to Mocha Island. That is all from me. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. Your activity is the best reward for me. Thank you for your attention. See you soon. Bye.